good evening. It's Friday. This is Over and Over at the Arsenal Women's Channel, and this is, of course, our new show. It's Rich and Andreas Talk AWFC. Now, there is a lot, of course, to talk about this week. It's been, I suppose, if you look on paper, it's been a positive week. 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, moving in the right direction. But there's a lot more to it than that. We'll get into all of that, of course. The win over Brighton and the win over Benfica in the Champions League last night. Lots to discuss about those 2 games, I'm sure. Plus, of course, it is international break now. There's 2 Lionesses games, of course, over the next week or so. A lot of our girls have been called up to the England squad, which is positive. And we've got some sad injury news as well. So it's all happening tonight, and it's all coming up the other side of this. And joining us, of course, as always, is, of course, Andreas, fresh back from his another trip to London, of course, last weekend for the Brighton game. How are you this week?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be back on the show. I didn't have the best week because on Tuesday I caught an diarrhea and stomach influenza. So it kept me in bed for 2.5 days. I'm really glad that I'm better and I can be part of the show again.
Oh dear, that's not good news, is it? Do you think you must have picked that up in London?
Probably, yes. It was I flew home on Monday morning, and on Tuesday morning I woke up and had to run to the toilet.
Oh dear, not good news. But as long as you're better now, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Of course, the 2 games that we've had this week have been. I don't know. Obviously, they're the right results we needed. We said last week on the show we basically needed to win these 2 games. No other 2 results were going to be acceptable, were they? Quite simply because of the fact that the results previously and the position that we were in. And in the end, we did get the 2 results we needed, and we did keep 2 clean sheets. All of those things are positive, and that's great. And that's what we needed to do. It's what we hoped would happen, and it has happened. And we have to be pleased. But I don't know. I mean, if we start with the Brighton game, I mean, that was quite a struggle, wasn't it? I mean, the performance was poor. We got the result in the end after a bright start, got the goal. But again, like the Aston Villa game, you mentioned it in the vlog, we didn't push on from there and we didn't get the second goal. And then, of course, when you don't get the second goal, anything can happen, can't it? And, of course, we came close to conceding a goal. Of course, Daphne made up for some of her mistakes this season with a couple of good saves, particularly that one near the end. And we got the win, but it was far from convincing, was it, that performance? I mean, what was it like actually there? Because I don't suppose it was much better being in the stadium for it, was it?
No, it was not the best game. And we started so good, and we had an early goal. You can't say we scored an early goal because it was a heavy deflection and own goal. And that's another negative thing. We were not able to score a goal by ourselves from open play. And first half was okay. And if you lead 1-0, you go to halftime, and then you say you regroup and try to score the second. But did we really try to score a second? There were so many side passes, back passes, and the longer the match continues, the more it was crying for another Villa game. And after 80 minutes, I thought, oh, please, no free kick, no corner for Brighton. They only need 1 chance. And everything can happen. We saw it. And whether it's in the 85th or in the 95th minute, a mistake can always happen. And then you concede 1 goal, and in the end, you lose 2 points. So I think we did better. The substitute were more for the offensive side, and we not only tried to defend the 1-0, but in the end we brought it over the line and we got the 3 points, but the performance was not much better than in the games before, and that's still frightening. If you see what this team, how this team developed from last season winning the Champions League to now struggling against mid-table teams in the WSL, and it's the same players plus Olivia Smith plus Taylor Hines. So it's a better squad than last season, and the performance is worse. I have no explanation for it, but maybe it's mental too. If you have this bad run and you really need to win, and then you have lost 2 points in the last home game, everybody was afraid. I think the players too were afraid this might happen again. So it's understandable, but it's not a real excuse for the bad performance. In the end, 3 points in the back, and that was what counted last Sunday.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, we've said on the show, haven't we, that, how many times have we said we need to win more scrappy 1-0s like Chelsea do, and then we won a scrappy 1-0 and we're not really satisfied. And it was more to me just to do with the way we're playing. I know that confidence plays a part. And, when you're losing some games and, the season started quite badly really overall, I guess confidence is low, and that maybe is a factor in the way that we're playing. We seem to lack a little bit of belief. We seem to be, I don't know, more worried about trying to keep possession of the ball, whether that means going backwards and actually trying to get in and create some chances and get 2, 3, 4 goals like we were doing so often last season. And that's what worries me. The result was good in the end. We had to win and we did, and that's got to be a positive. But I don't know. For me, it asked more questions than it answered, in the fact that, the performance was so poor. And on another day, we could easily have dropped points in that game, quite easily. Brighton had a couple of good chances. They could have scored a goal, and it would have been, who knows what might have happened had they equalised. So, we did hang on, and it did make me think of the amount of times we spoke about the 1-0 Chelsea games, and this was that sort of a game. But I don't know, the performance for me and some of the players that are just not performing at all at the moment, are they? And it worries me more. Yes, obviously we've got to win, and I think that maybe could be a turning point maybe for us, especially when you look at what happened last night, which we'll come on to. But I don't know, I think a few of the players are not firing on all cylinders yet. There don't seem to be very good connections in the key areas of the pitch. Defensively, we're making some silly mistakes quite often, conceding chances. I mean, Daphne had a great game against Brighton, of course, kept us to win. The midfield, we know the midfield's not got the right balance. We know that, and the front three seem to change, or the 2 wide players seem to change every week, and we got no consistency there either. And I think a combination of all of those things, obviously Mariona being off form, and it doesn't seem to be, Leslie Russo's not scoring the goals because we're not creating the chances for her. It seems to be a lot of things, one after the other, all happening at the same time, and it's led to these kind of rather flat performances and lacking confidence as well to a certain degree. And I think maybe one of the reasons, I don't know what you feel about it, but one of the reasons for me was last season when Renee came in, there was no pressure on her really at all. She was interim manager to start with. We all knew that USL was over before she came in due to the start we'd had to the season. It was basically over. The domestic cup competitions didn't go particularly well, but because there was no pressure, we seemed to play with freedom last season, didn't we? And then, we got towards the end of the season. Obviously, the Champions League was building up, and, we managed to fight our way through to the final, and we know what happened there. But now this season, having won the Champions League, suddenly now the expectation on this group of players and this team and this manager has grown. It's massive now. It's a lot higher than it was previously. And obviously last season with hardly any pressure at all. I don't know whether that's affected the way Renee is and the coaching staff are approaching the games now. It almost feels as though we're playing with a little bit of fear, where last season we were playing with freedom. And I don't know if that's a pressure thing, because I say last season there was very little pressure really. If we'd got knocked out the Champions League group stage last season and we'd finished, I don't know, second or third in the league, nobody would have said, oh, what a terrible season. Everyone would say, well, you know, Renee's coming at a difficult time. She's done okay in the circumstances. So she had no pressure on her. The fact that she went that one step further and won that cup, now suddenly it's all changed. And do you feel that maybe that pressure has had an impact on the way we're sort of setting ourselves out for the games this season? We're not playing with that freedom anymore, are we? We've seen a lot of the handbrakes on.
Yeah, I agree. The pressure is a lot higher this season because we have won something. And we all said before the season, we want to compete for the WSL title. This is the most important title in this season. And this pressure, of course, it's felt by the players. And another thing is Renee's system seems to be decoded from the other managers. Does she really have another plan B to do different things, or does she stick to the same and the opponents know how to play against Arsenal? It always seems to be the same. Play high pressure against us, and we don't find a way to build up our game and to go through the midfield and bring the ball into the opposition side's box. It's too much in the midfield and backwards because we don't find solutions. And this is because they all play a high press against us. It seems as if it's decoded and nobody has a new code for us. And then some players are not in their best forms. Fortunately, Daphne had a very good game against Brighton. It was the Daphne van Domselaar from last season. And we needed her in this form in this game, otherwise we would have conceded. There were a few really good saves from her. Yeah, fortunately that. And we can't all break down to missing Leah. It's one player that's out. Of course, she's a key player. Maybe she's the key player of our team, but it's just one player missing, and that can't make a difference to be a title contender or mid-table team. It's too easy to say this is as an excuse. I don't accept this. And the problem is, the build-up play and the midfield. Yeah, as you said, the changing wingers every game is also a problem and not the right decision. But the midfield is not clicking. I can't remember a game this season in which we had total control over the midfield over the whole game. Even against LCL or West Ham, when we won comfortably. And there were parts of the game when we totally lost control in the midfield. And why? I have no explanation for this. And if we don't have an explanation, then how can the players solve it? And Renee must find the solution or the new code. And I heard an interesting interview this week with Lucy Bronze when she was asked why she played a different role in the Euros, more offensive on the wings or more inverting in midfield. Was it your idea, Lucy? Did you decide to play? And she said, no, I only do what the manager tells me. And believe me, in my whole career, I only did what the manager tells me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played so many games over 90 minutes. If the manager says you have to invert, I'll do that. If the manager says you have to play on the wings and others will fill the space, then I play on the wings. And that's it. Of course, they are adults, they are experienced players, they know how to react on the field. But the manager gives the clear instructions and the players have to follow these instructions. Otherwise, as Lucy Bronze said, you are out for the next game because the manager says, I told you to do this and that, and you're not doing this. Mm. So you can break down it on the team and say that the team performs on the pitch, on the match day, but it's the manager who is responsible for tactics, for everything. And it seems as if Renee doesn't have the solution or doesn't have the new code to bring this team, this group of players to their best. It's frightening at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not working for whatever reason, yes, and the opposition are playing maybe slightly differently against us. Maybe they've kind of figured out what our weaknesses are and exploited them this season. Whereas last season, maybe we caught a few teams out because it was a slightly different Arsenal that had been over the previous couple of seasons, a little bit more revitalised. But yeah, it isn't clicking at all. I don't think any area of the team's really clicked this season. I don't think the defence has clicked, even though there's very few changes defensively in the team. Still not really clicked as a unit. With the midfielders, I mean, we're sick of talking about it. Every week it's the same. We're still not seeing any kind of combinations working in there. Like you said, we haven't dominated a game in midfield all season. We haven't dominated the game in midfield, even going back into towards the end of last season. Even in the final against Barcelona, we certainly didn't dominate the midfield, did we? We got dominated for long spells in that game. We had brilliant tactic, game plan, work to perfection, but we certainly didn't dominate that game either. And obviously some of the league games towards the end of the season, we were getting ripped open constantly. So this isn't just a new thing for this season. It seems worse this season than it did, but it's been there for a while, and it is something that needs to be resolved quickly, because midfield is such a key area of the team, isn't it? If your midfield's not functioning, you're not going to function as a team, and this is why we're not creating chances. This is why we're not scoring goals that we should be with the players that we've got. We're just not creating any chances, are we? We're too negative. We're passing backwards, sideways. We're just not looking for that risk ball, to put somebody in on goal. And when we do, as we saw last night, which we'll come on to, we're not clinical enough in those opportunities. We're taking too many touches. We're not shooting when we should, and attack after attack is just ending with nothing. And yeah, it is worrying. It is worrying me. And although we have got the 2 wins that we needed, I don't really feel much better about it all than I did last week, if I'm honest. Other than the fact that we won the 2 games which we needed to, but I don't feel any more confident that we can go on now after the international break and push on and start getting our format. Nothing's suggested for me that that's going to happen. I'm hoping it does. Maybe the break and the 2 wins might maybe the turning point and we've turned the corner. But what I saw this week doesn't convince me that that's the case, because we've still got the same issues in the team. There's nothing different. We just managed to win 2 games that we hadn't won the previous 4, so it was nice to win them, but I don't know. We've got Seb in the chat. How you doing? Good to see. Hope you're doing well. Colin as well is with us. YouTube Censored As Free Speech says, hopefully now the girls regain their form after that impressive win last night, because Barcelona are starting to scare me. I mean, don't worry about Barcelona. I mean, the likelihood is we won't be playing them till into next year anyway. If we get through this stage, we might get them in the knockouts or later on. So we don't need to worry about Barcelona for now, do we? I mean, last season they scored 8 goals past Chelsea in the semi-final, and that was scary, but we still beat them in the final, didn't we? So let's not worry too much about Barcelona. Let's concentrate more on what we're doing at the minute. And I know you're right, it was an impressive result last night. Again, the performance was a bit patchy, which we'll come on to, and to see where we go on there. Colin says, Andreas, the way we played on Sunday, no wonder you had to run to the toilet on Monday. Glad you're feeling better now. Yeah, that game wasn't great, was it? Let's be honest. But anyway, we did win. Chelma24 says, our system of play doesn't suit Olivia Smith. See what Thompson is enjoying at Chelsea. No, I kind of agree with you. It doesn't really suit her. Ryan says lots of learnings at the school of Renee. Well, yeah, quite possibly. Matthew's with us as well. How do, my friend? Good to see you. So yes, I mean, I don't want to be too critical because we won 2 games that we needed to win, but I don't feel particularly confident about what's going to happen in the game when we come back after the international break, how the season's going to pan out. I'm still concerned, the same concerns I had a week ago before we won these 2 games. Nothing's changed apart from the fact we won the games. Nothing else has changed. I haven't looked at it and thought, well, oh great, we've won the 2 games, we can move forward now, everything's starting to click, because it hasn't clicked. Hasn't clicked yet. It still didn't click in those 2 games. It didn't click. We got a couple of lucky goals at good times. The Brighton one very early on, which kind of helped, no doubt, and then obviously last night the very fortunate first goal, which made a massive difference in that game. So I don't know, it's still not there, is it? LG says our next 5 fixtures: Leicester, Chelsea, Bayern, Spurs and Real Madrid. Well, yeah, I mean, apart from the Leicester one at the start of that, it's a difficult run of games. It is. Obviously we know what happened against Bayern last season. Obviously Chelsea, we don't need to mention them. We know what can happen against them. Obviously Spurs have had a great start to the season. Real Madrid, in the end, we beat them quite comfortably last season. But again, if you don't perform well against a team like that, you can lose the game, drop points. Absolutely. So it is a tough run of games. Absolutely, it is. We had a tough run of games before this week as well, didn't we? And we didn't really do too well in them. So, you know, it's more about how we can get the team to function better as a unit, or the different units of the team to function together, because they're just not. I said it last night when the game was on. I've said it a lot of times this season. Almost when you're watching us, it's like we're 11 players, you know, running around whatever we're doing, but we're not playing as a team. And the teams we're playing against look as though they're organised, they're working together. And although in a lot of cases, last night, another one, Brighton, their players aren't as good as ours individually, but because they was working or looked like they were playing as a team, it made the game a lot more difficult than it should have been. Last season, Brighton at home, you know, we would have won that game. We'd have scored 3 or 4 or 5 goals. You know, Benfica away, I thought they played well last night, but again, that's the sort of game where last season we'd have gone over there, we'd have scored 4 or 5 goals, no problem, would have been a comfortable game. And in the end, we've struggled to win both of these 2 games. You know, and we look like 11 strangers, which is strange because the majority of this team have been together now for a couple of seasons at least, haven't they? Some of them are obviously a long time, but you know, if you look at, obviously Daphne's been here 2 seasons, Emily Fox has been here 2 years. You know, you obviously Kyra's been here for 3 seasons. I know she doesn't play that much. You know, Marione's in her 2nd season now. You know, we know Beth's been here ages. Leslie's been here for 3 or 4 years. So the majority of this team have been together for a while, haven't they? Obviously, you know, Chloe Kelly's been here for a little while now, but she knows most of these players anyway. So I don't know. I'm quite surprised that it looks like a team for me. What I've seen so far this season, it looks as though we've come off the back of last season and we've brought in 7, 8, 9 new players and they're all getting used to playing together. That's what it looks like. And when you look at the team, actually, this is the same team that's largely been playing for the last 2 or 3 seasons, the same team. I can't understand why we look so disjointed. You know, Leah Volz has obviously gone left and left a little bit of a hole in midfield, but you know, and obviously you mentioned Leah Williamson, and Leah Williamson's missing as well, and you know, she's not going to be back for a little while yet either. But it can't be just 2 players as good as they both are. That's not the reason why it's so disjointed. It's deeper than that, isn't it? We can't just blame it on 1 or 2 players not being here. It's more about the players that are here. I don't know whether is it tactical? Is it a confidence thing? I don't know. Is it the pressure that we've mentioned already? I don't know. There seems to be lots of questions for me that I don't know the answers to. And unless Renee and the coaching staff and maybe the players themselves can start coming up with these answers quite quickly, the season's going to run away from us, isn't it? Because, you know, we can't afford too many more slip-ups now if we're going to keep ourselves in the WSL, in the Champions League even. You know, if we lose to Bayern Munich in the next game, you know, 3 points out of 9, that's a problem. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to put this right. We've got to find a way to put it right. And yeah, it's a lot of work needs to be done, I think, you know, during this international break. And you know, do you think maybe a little bit that this break's maybe come at a good time for us? So maybe Renee, the coaching staff, the players are away, they're going to be with it, they can forget maybe what's going on at Arsenal for a bit. Well, some of them can, a lot of them are going with England altogether, but they can kind of forget about what's happening with Arsenal a little bit. You know, Renee and the coaching staff maybe have a little bit more time to sit down and work out what needs to change. Do you think maybe this could be a blessing in disguise? I know we don't like international breaks very often, but this particular one might actually be a blessing in disguise for us, mightn't it?
Yeah, totally agree. Normally, I say not again an international break, but this time it's just the best that can happen for us. International break now, 2 weeks of the WSL, and then the next game against Leicester, not against the top team. So, I mean, this is the best that can happen to us. And Renee said a post match yesterday that after this block, she and the whole coaching staff are sitting together, and in the first week they are analyzing the games from the last block, all the WSL and the Champions League games. And in the second week, they look on the next block and prepare the next opponents. So this gives the coaching staff a good time to see what went wrong, what doesn't work, what did we expect from our team, what did we want to play or perform, and why doesn't it work? as we planned. And then it gives them a second week to look for new tactics, new system, or new ideas, and to work with the team, with the players that are returning from the international break, then to work with them and prepare an opponent, not to be disrespectful to Leicester, but an opponent that we should beat comfortably. And therefore, it's the best that can happen. And hopefully our players will all come back without injuries, or those who are injured without Manu. We'll talk about this later, I think. Daphne is not going to the Dutch team, but that all will be ready and injury-free when they return. And then maybe some will come with new confidence from the internationals. Maybe this gives some a chance to play who have not got enough minutes, like Vicky Pelova or Kyra. Maybe Taylor Hines will get first minutes for England. What might be a boost for her. And then let's see with what ideas, what tactics the staff will come after their analysis and after the international break, and if things will click and gel together better. So far, it's difficult to understand for a team with players. They are together. The core of the squad is together for 5, 6, 7 or more years. And only a few new players. Maybe that's the problem. You need more new blood in a squad, and we didn't do enough in this summer window. Maybe this was wrong, but now it's too late. It's only time to analyze and to draw conclusions out of these problems we had. I'm sure that the coaching staff will see the problems. Of course, they can't go in a press conference or in an after game presser interview and say, "Oh, we have so many problems and we don't know how to solve it." They can't do this. They must say, "Oh, we got 3 points and I'm proud of the team, how they reacted and blah blah." But they see the problems and now they have time to solve the problems, hopefully. And let's stay optimistic and say we will come out for the next block and it will be better.
Well, it has to be, quite honestly, doesn't it? It has to be better. When we've just gone through the fixtures that we've got coming up when we return, and yes, Leicester might be a nice game to come back to, but after that, it's a really, really tough run of games. And if we aren't better, if we haven't sorted some of these issues out, we're going to struggle to win those games. And if we do, then we're going to be in trouble not only in the WSL but in the Champions League as well. We're going to be in big trouble, aren't we? So it's a big. This is a big international break. This is where we're going to see exactly what the manager, the coaching staff are really all about, because they've got a lot of work to do over these next couple of weeks to really work on what is going wrong, what isn't working, and coming up with the solutions to make it work and make us at least start playing more towards the way we were playing for much of last season, when we were playing with that freedom and we were expressing ourselves. The players were expressing themselves on the pitch, which they're not really doing now. And this is something that needs to be looked at. And, if we can get it right, we saw last season when it went well, it was really, really good. We played some fantastic football, scored lots of great goals, and we looked like we won the Champions League. Obviously, that shows what a good team we can be on our day. And for some reason, like we've said this season, it just hasn't happened yet, and it is a concern. But a big international break, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of the real Arsenal, if you like, or the Arsenal from last season. We'll start to see a bit more of that now in the next block of games, because if we don't, then we could be sitting here in a month's time at the next international break, really, really worried about what's happening, where we're going, because 2 or 3 defeats out of that run of games, then we are really in trouble, aren't we? Really in trouble. Colin says, but we have had emphatic wins against Chelsea in the recent past, and that was in the days of Jonas. Yeah, we have. We beat Chelsea a couple of times, a couple of cup finals as well. I remember the 4-1 fantastic performance. That was against Chelsea, Not often many teams have done that against them in recent years. So, we have done it before. We need to do it again, don't we? LG says, the performance against Leicester will be a benchmark for the difficult run of games. Absolutely. If we struggle against them, even if we win, then I don't see us beating Chelsea. But exactly. And that's kind of how we've been these last 2 games. We've won, which is great, but the performances have got me worried about those tough games we've got coming up. Because you're right. If we beat Leicester but play like we did against Brighton, then does that give anybody confidence that we can beat Chelsea and beat Bayern Munich? No, it doesn't. And will the players believe that as well? Because that's the other thing, isn't it? It's all very well us thinking, well, we're not sure. It's what the players believe as well, isn't it? Do the players believe that they can do it? That's going to be down to the management and the coaching staff as well, isn't it? We've got the Mr. Arsenal podcast right now there, my friend. He says, I think the club only giving Renee a 1.5 year contract, and that she's in the last year of that contract is playing a factor. The club need to decide if they want to stick or twist with Renee. No, that's true. I kind of agree. Yeah, they do need to decide that quite quickly. And if they stick with her and give her more time to build the squad in her image, I think we'll see better. We need consistency when it comes to the management role, and can't keep changing managers every couple of years because things just won't improve and Chelsea will keep pulling away. Now, I kind of agree with you, and I don't want us to keep changing managers every couple of years, but what's important is we get the right manager in. And I'm not sure if Renee is the right manager. Chelsea, when Emma left, Chelsea went out and got the best manager possible in Sonia Bonpasta, right? And look what they've gone on to achieve since. We've done is we've promoted Jonas's assistant. I'm not saying she hasn't, she won the Champions League. Obviously, she's got something about her. She can coach a team. Obviously, she can. But it's all very well winning that once. If you don't build on that, then is she able to build on that? That's the question I've got now. And maybe you're right. Maybe the club only gave her that short contract for that reason, because they wanted to see if she has got it in her. If she is the right manager for us to take us forward onto the next level that we need to go to, which is to be battling Chelsea and knocking Chelsea off that perch. That's what we need to be doing now. That's the next step, isn't it? And if Renee can't do it in the next year, then yeah, maybe they will look elsewhere. Or as you say, they need to say, right, okay, we're going to put our faith in this manager, like the men have done with Mikel Arteta and the men's team, and maybe say, right, we're going to put our faith in you. We're going to give you 4 or 5 years, and we're going to let you build your team. We're going to give you what you need to, as much as we can, for you to be successful. Is that the route they're going to go? And I think this season is going to decide that, isn't it? If at the end of this season, if this season carries on the way it started, I don't think there's any doubt that they won't renew a contract, and that'll be it. That we'll look elsewhere. If on the other end we do turn things around, we have success again, whether it's in a cup competition or we do well in Europe again, then they may well decide to say, right, okay, we're going to give Renee what she needs, and we're going to back her long term, and let's see what happens. But I do think this is quite a crucial season, isn't it, for that reason? And you're right, we gave her that short contract for that reason, because she is inexperienced at this top level, isn't she? So we've done the right thing in that sense, but it could mean that we suffer this season. Maybe we'll have to see. Matthew says, yeah, new blood. Yeah, that's what we've needed, and we haven't maybe got enough of it, have we? LG says, we also have to analyse the squad that we have. For example, Vicky Palova is a very good player, but is she good enough for a title-winning team? Yeah, I think she is. I don't think Vicky Palova is necessarily an issue. I think she is a title a player good enough to play in a title-winning team. But in the role she's been playing, it's difficult, isn't it? Ryan says, I'd like to see Palova play more minutes. Yeah, I would as well. Yeah, I like Vicky Palova. I thought 2 seasons ago, before her injury, I thought she was brilliant. She was my player of the season 2 seasons ago. That's how good I thought she was. So I definitely think she's good enough. She's been playing maybe a slightly different role now when she's played. She's in and out of the team, which doesn't help anybody. But I don't know. I don't think we should pick on Vicky Palova necessarily. I think the midfield is an area that hasn't worked. She's not really played much. Why not give her a run of games? Let's give her a run of games in there, see what she can do. Because I've got faith in her. Matthew says, and again, whatever the coaching staff can come up with, the players have to execute and also take initiative. Now, of course they do. Yeah, the players have to believe in what they're being told to do. Obviously the point that Andreas made there about Lucy Bronze, yes, it's all very well saying, well, I'm going to do what the manager asked me to do, and that's fine. But you as a player have got to believe in that system. You've got to believe in that role you're given. Otherwise, it won't work, will it? Lucy Bronze, what she says is right, but she's also believed in what she's been told. She's believed that that's going to work, and she's believed that she can play that role in the way that she needs to do it, and she's managed to do that, and fair play to her. But if the manager's coming up with things that the players don't necessarily believe in, then that is gonna cause a problem, isn't it? And maybe that's almost what it looks like. I'm not saying that's happening. It just looks as though that could be happening because of the way the team aren't functioning properly at the moment. But anyway, let's hope we have the chance to sort this out. And this international break, as we say, might have come at a good time. Ag says I like to see Stina play a lot more, evening from Chile. Oh, it's chilly in Sweden, is it? Well, it will be, won't it? It's October, so it's bound to be chilly in Sweden. We hasn't had it too bad at the minute, actually. It's been quite mild for October here. But anyway, I'm sure the cold weather's coming soon. I can feel it on its way. But I'm sure you'll remain a bit more cold in Sweden than we are. So yeah, of course, after the Brighton game, frustrating performance, but a win. Of course, last night we travelled back to Lisbon. I know a different stadium, but the same city, of course, where we enjoyed such great success a few months ago. Nice to be back in Portugal, in Lisbon. But, the performance last night really couldn't have been much more of a contrast, could it, to the last time we were in Lisbon? We just didn't really get going. It was a struggle. And in the end, yes, we got the win, a good win, as we said before. It's a good result. Brilliant. The 2-0 away win in Champions League, you've got to take that because Benfica aren't a bad side. They're physical, they're strong, they worked hard, they were difficult to break down. And we did make a bit of a meal of the game, but we got the job done ultimately. And in the circumstances, that was all that we could hope for because, as we said before, we had to win this game. A draw would have been a disaster, really, wouldn't it? 1 point out of 6, and we managed to get the 3. So that was a massive boost as well. What did you make of the performance last night? Because I didn't think we played that well, really. I mean, we got the result, and we should have maybe won a bit more comfortably. But again, Daphne's had to make a couple of good saves to keep us in the game, and it could easily have gone the other way, couldn't it? Quite easily.
Yeah, we have to see two different things. The result yesterday, brilliant. 2-0 away, Champions League. Yeah, what can you expect more? The performance, not better than against Brighton or against Villa, and that's a bad sign. I mean, of course, the pressure was high, and as you said, even 1 point out of 6 in the first 2 games in Champions League wouldn't have been enough. Then every chance to finish on top 4 would have gone. Now we still have a chance for top 4, but at least the places 5 to 12 should be possible now. When you look that we have two games coming at the end against the Twente and Leuven. This should be 6 points. So qualifying for at least for the knockouts now seems possible. So the result was the most important, and we got the result. It was a difficult game, and not to underestimate the situation in the Champions League. We saw Chelsea lose 2 points against Twente. We saw how many problems Wolfsburg had to win 2-1 with a with a penalty that's discussable in stoppage time away at Valerenga. Or yesterday, how many problems Bayern Munich had to beat Juve. It's only Barcelona and Lyon who are marching through, and for me, these 2 teams will have the first 2 spots for the quarterfinals. There's no discussion. So all the others struggle and have problems, don't win comfortably. Yeah, Man United started with 2 wins, but they only won 1-0 and had their difficulty. So the result was good. And the first goal from Mido, it showed the will to score, and it was her goal. But she forced. Maybe she was the one who had last contact to the ball, but she forced the defensive players to get on the ball, and therefore she could score. And the second one, 2 minutes before the end, a very, very clever free kick from Chloe. I still don't understand why Chloe is not starting, because she always seems to change a game when she's on. But between these 2 goals, Benfica had their chances. And especially this header, this was a fantastic save from Daphne. What happens if Benfica gets the equalizer with this header? Can we put 1 gear up and say, it's 1-1, let's score another and 1 or 2 more goals? Or would we struggle and finish with a 1-1 then? And this is still a problem that we are not able. If we are 1-0 up, we are not able to score a second and bring the game to bed earlier. That would serve would be good for our nerves and for the confidence, for the mental state of the team. Yeah, I was at home sitting on my couch and watching it, and it didn't help to me to feel better watching these games. What I don't like is this passing around, passing backwards, and I always say, if you pass the ball around your own box, you can't score. You can only score if you bring the ball to the opposition side's box. Bring the ball into their box, create chances, and if you force a striker like Leslie Russo to drop deep to be involved in the game, then you are missing her in the box. Yeah, she was in the box for this free kick in the 88th minute. Yes, it was a free kick. Otherwise, Chloe wouldn't have found her in the box, because Chloe has to build up and create chances. This is still a problem. The performance doesn't give much hope or confidence. But the 3 points are in the back, and very, very important. If you look on the table, it's very important that we have 3 points now. We have 2 difficult games against Bayern and Real coming up. Yeah, if we want to finish top 4, then we should at least get 4 points out of these 2 games, better 6 points. But on the other hand, there's no reason to be afraid for the Bayern game. I co-watched the Bayern game against Juve. They are playing similar to us. It's in your blueprint, passing in the midfield, passing backwards, and being lucky to score. So others have their problems too, and they have 3 points now, and maybe Lisbon can be a turning point for us to the better now.
Yeah, that was kind of how I was trying to look at it last night. 2 wins back to back, 2 clean sheets. 2 good performances from Daphne as well, which I think were needed. All of that's positive, and I think that the team, the players, the coaching staff, everybody needs to sort of look at those positives and say, yeah, it's been a productive week in that sense. But you're right that the performance last night hasn't filled me with any kind of confidence that this team can go and achieve very much. We just still look, like you said, it was no different to the previous 2 or 3 games where we didn't win. We haven't played any better. We've just got 2 better results, from one reason or another. We're a little bit lucky, that the goal against Brighton was very lucky. The first goal last night was very lucky, and those moments are so important in the game, because the first goal quite often is so decisive, especially when it's us that's playing. And both of those 2 first goals were very, very fortunate. So we've had a bit of luck this week as well, and you've got to take that luck, and you've got to make sure that you make the most of it, which we did, because at the end of the day we got that luck, and we went on and got the 2 wins on the back of it. So, but yeah, again last night I thought defensively at times we looked off it. They had some good chances to score against us. I didn't think the midfield again last night. Yes, Kyra came in and it was good to see her getting a start, and I thought she played quite well. But again, the blend and the balance in that midfield still wasn't right. That wasn't Kyra's fault, but it's the balance and the blend isn't right. And in the front 3 again, the comment was made before, Olivia Smith, are we getting the best out of her? I don't think we are. She's a very talented player, and she does some nice things in games, and she did some nice things last night, some really nice things, but she's not really been effective. She's not affecting the game enough in that final third for whatever reason. Some of her crossing isn't always great. That's another matter. But I don't know. We need to find a way, or Renee and the coaching staff need to find a way that she can be a lot more influential, and she can have a lot more of an impact, like a big impact on the game, because we know how talented she is. She's a match winner on her day. We saw what she did against London City in the first game. And she's quite unpredictable with how she plays, and she's a sort of player that can unlock a defence, but we're not using her in that right way. We're playing her. Is playing her on the wing best position? I'm not sure, but we need to find a way to get the best out of her. I mean, I know Beth got the goal last night, and she did some nice things, but she was probably one of the biggest culprits of not shooting. When 2 opportunities in the first half, she could have shot, and she decided to take an extra touch, try to cut inside, lost the ball, or the shot got blocked, and 2 really big chances went missing because she wasn't prepared to take the early shot on. And it's not just her. Last night it was her. Those two particular occasions were quite frustrating because they were two really good opportunities. It's not just her. Leslie Russo did it as well. She had an opportunity. Even Olivia Smith had a chance to shoot earlier, took an extra touch in the shot, got blocked. And it seems to be a theme in the team at the minute. We're not getting those shots away. We're taking too many touches in and around the penalty area, and it's costing us. And we don't need to do it because we've got the players that are talented enough not to do it. But yeah, I say last night for me again, it asked more questions than it answered. The only answers really were the fact that, like you said, we've got those 3 points on the board in the group, which was massively important. And now we've given ourselves a big chance to we can push on now and get up that table and hopefully get in the top 4 or certainly in the top 12, and hopefully that'll be enough. But yeah, I don't know that I wasn't too sure about some of the team selections. Taylor Hines again. Would Katie McCabe have been a better bet last night in that game? I don't know. I kind of got the feeling she might have been. Although having said that, I thought when Emily Fox went off and Taylor Hines moved to right back and Katie McCabe came out left back, actually that didn't look too bad. I didn't actually think that looked too bad. So I don't know whether that's, hopefully Emily Fox isn't too badly injured and she can be okay to play the next game, but at least we've kind of got some cover there. Maybe that's what Taylor Hines was brought in for, because she can play in both full-back positions, and I thought she's still right there. It was only brief time, but you're right about Chloe Kelly. Why is Chloe Kelly not starting more games? We're in about an injury, maybe that she might be carrying an injury. I'm not sure, but every time she plays and comes on, she has an impact. She set up that goal last night, brilliant free kick, and she's done that in every game this season that she's played. She scored against Man City when she come on. So that's a little bit baffling what's going on there. I'm not sure. Obviously, we spoke about Jenna Nice-Wonga so many times. She was on the bench last night, but still not getting nowhere near getting on the pitch. Stina Blackstenius is coming on briefly in games, 15, 20 minutes, a bit longer last night, but that's not long enough to get into the game, especially a game like last night. And I don't know, Mariona's still playing in that position that doesn't really bring the best out of her. I think it was, I don't know if it was it UEFA that gave her player of the match? Because I think Leslie Russo was given player of the match, but was that the TV? One of them was player of the match, sorry, and Mariona was given player of the match. And I'm thinking Mariona must have lost the ball 50 times in that game last night. 50 times she must have lost the ball. And I'm not saying she had a bad game necessarily, but when you look at how brilliant she was last season and you compare that to last night, for example, she was nowhere near that level last night. And she was really frustrating because we know how talented she is. And I say she was running into players on the opposition. She was losing the ball. And although she did some nice things as well, did she do enough to be player of the match? I was shocked when I saw they'd given it to Mariona. I didn't know who to give it to, if I'm honest. Maybe Daphne again for those crucial saves that she made. But nobody really stood out. I mean, Leslie Russo worked hard, but got a goal. She was probably a fair choice, I suppose, for it. But, Kim Little did worked hard as well, and say Cara played all right. But I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, what are you making of Mariona this season? Because something's not right with her, is it? She's not nowhere near her best, is she?
No. For yesterday's game, I think maybe Lotta could have got the player of the match.
That's a
good game. Of course, she had not too much to do defensively, but what everybody says her strength is that she can be a build-up player, and this is what she did yesterday. So and not played many minutes so far, so it was a real good performance from her. But back to Mariona, I think Mariona yesterday had a better game than against Brighton. Against Brighton, I was totally disappointed to see her. She lost so many easy balls in midfield, and a lot more than last season. What has happened? Did she lost her confidence, or the way she overviews a game? Always losing these easy balls, and then we know from last season it happened. She lost some balls, but she fought them back. She won them immediately back, and this was not the case against Brighton. It was a little bit better against Benfica, but she played a more offensive role because Kyra was in the team. So a small step forward for Mariona, but not near the performance we saw from her last season. And for me, she was not player of the game. Of course, she had a few good passes or so, but from player of her level, of her standard, we expect more, and we can expect more. We saw it last season, and this was not the Mariana from last season. Yeah, player of the match for me. If I had to decide, then it would have been Lotta, maybe Daphne for the save. That saved us the 1-0. But yeah, for the work rate, of course, Leslie always is exceptional. But we said it so often, I want Leslie Russo in the box. And if she's in the midfield or on the wings and creates something, then she can't create things for herself. She can't pass the ball in the box and then be there to get this pass. So this is not the best decision to have her drop deeper in midfield, playing number 10 or go on the wings. And also for me, Beth and Olivia are too much inverting, too much going inside. We need wingers, and Chloe is a winger. She's the one who brings in crosses. So for me, she would be a starter. And if she carries a slight injury or knock or something and is not ready for 90 minutes, then I'd say start her, let her play for 60 minutes. She definitely has an impact. Her crosses will lead to goals for us. And then if you have to sub her after 60 minutes, okay. But then maybe her defenders are so tired that Caitlin or Olivia or Beth can continue and make another difference. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Of course, the manager has to decide, and she sees the players every day in training. Therefore, we can't say what the manager has to do. We can only tell our opinion from watching it from the stands or like yesterday on TV.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you're right. I mean, we don't know what happens in training and how fit the players are. And I know there's been some talk that maybe Chloe's been carrying an injury. I mean, she did get an injury earlier in the season, and she's not really started too many games since then. So I don't know whether that is an ongoing issue. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with England over the next week or so, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there seems to be a few, well, what seemed to be from outside anyway, some strange sort of team selection with the team, and yeah, the too many of the big players for us are not playing particularly well either. And Colin makes the same point here. One of our main issues revolves around the poor performances of Mariona all season so far. She's far better than she's been playing. Absolutely, yeah, and that's the biggest frustration, isn't it? Ryan says Mariona's been trying to play in the wrong position. Yeah, exactly. She has been playing a lot deeper this season for the majority of it, which hasn't helped, I don't think. But yeah, we've got a comment here from Comp285 says Renee seems trying more stuff than Arteta did in the beginning. For example, allowing the free kick yesterday, but she needs to give more game time to Kadina, Nicewanger, and Palova. Yeah, you utilise the squad exactly. You utilise the squad more. Colin says she always gives her best, but often without effect. Yeah, I mean Mariona, you're right. Comp285 says plus. We have to take our chances when we get them, and defensively, we need to let in fewer goals. Well, exactly, yeah. What we need to do is we need to just play better, score more goals, and concede less, and then we'll be fine. It seems obvious. It does seem obvious, and you're right. But yes, it seems as though all the key aspects of the game we're not doing particularly well at. Defensively, we're not okay. We've had 2 clean sheets, but that's mainly been down to Daphne's heroics behind the defence. The defence have made some mistakes. The midfield, as we said, isn't clicking, and we're not taking our chances when we do create. We're not creating enough, and then when we do create them, we're not taking enough of them. You know, it's getting to the point where we're creating so few chances that we almost have to score with every chance we create, because we're going to concede a goal usually or 2, and we're only creating maybe 2 or 3 at the other end, and we're going to have to be more clinical. And you don't have success by doing that. That's not how you're successful. You're successful if you're solid defensively and you create lots of chances and you score a few goals. And we're not doing either of those 2 things particularly well, are we? So you're right, unfortunately. LG says Olivia is a left winger playing out of position. Everyone's been saying that it's the manager who is not getting the best out of her. She's more dangerous on the left, cutting on the right foot. Yeah, maybe maybe that's where she should be playing, and she has been playing predominantly on the right, which is that her strongest position. Is are they looking at her maybe in I don't know, a kind of the opposite to Bukayo Saka, in a sense, that cutting in, that being the kind of what they're looking to get out of, I don't know, but it's not working particularly well. Matthew says Ford loves an extra. Well, yeah, she does. Yeah, Caitlin Ford as well. There's another one who does. I agree. 170 Gunner says, I don't think we had a player of the match. Maybe Russo, if I had to pick one. Yeah, I thought Russo worked hard last night. It wasn't her night in many ways. She didn't get the service until right near the end when she took the goal well that she scored, which she kind of deserved the goal, I thought, for the work she put in. And yeah, I suppose maybe Lotta at the back was solid. Actually, she was. And I say Leslie worked hard. So they were maybe the two standouts. And Daphne, obviously, for the saves. Ryan says, Twinkle Toes Fordy, indeed. And we've got 170 Gunner says, from what I've seen, Nice Wonga is better than Hines. Well, to be honest with you, I don't think we've seen enough of either of them yet to maybe decide. So I wouldn't really like to call that, actually. I mean, I don't know. I've not seen. I mean, has Jenna played? I think she played one game at left back. Maybe I know she played in midfield in one game as well, didn't she? And that's about it, really. I mean, I know Taylor Hines has come on at left back, and she's been okay. She always seems to want to play the easy pass backwards rather than make anything happen going forwards, which is a little bit of a frustration with her. But she is settling into a new team, I suppose, and maybe she needs a bit of time. But I don't think we've seen enough for either of them two to decide, if either of them two is going to be a better option to be able to rest Katie McCabe a bit more. I don't know. At the moment, it's difficult to say, isn't it? India Mastiff says KCC looked down, but at the end, don't think she had a good game. I thought she did okay. I mean, she didn't have a fantastic game, but you've got to look at how many minutes she's played this season. She's not going to suddenly come in and be straight at her best this year when she's been sitting on the bench so much. I thought she did okay. Yeah, she did look a bit downbeat at the end. Obviously, she got taken off, and she doesn't look very happy. And obviously, an unhappy player is not going to be an effective player. We saw that with Chloe Kelly at Man City, for example. So, yes, maybe there's something going on there that needs to be sorted out before too long. Matthew says, Mariona is a risky player. Playing deep is risky. She should be a top with the other midfielders. No, I agree. Yeah, when she exactly last season, she lost the ball a lot because she's a player that wants to take risks. Absolutely, and we love that. But when you're in the final third and you do it and you lose the ball, it's not anywhere near as dangerous as if you're in your own final third or in the middle of the pitch and you lose the ball. It becomes more of a problem. So yeah, I think you're right. She's much more effective higher up the pitch, absolutely. And we need to get her up. I mean, she played a lot, like Andreas said. She did play slightly further forward last night, and she did play slightly better as a result of that. And maybe that's the way forward that we need to use her with, and maybe play Kyra more there. Maybe put Vicky Pullover in there as the to support Kim in the midfield. But anyway, Ag says, well, Sweden will beat Spain in the coming weeks, so Stina coming back happy and Mariona sad. Well, let's hope they all come back happy if they can. India Master says their Chelsea game is fast approaching. Don't think the ship could be turned around in time. Yeah, I kind of agree. At this moment in time, I would agree with you and say I don't think so either. But this is a team, and we showed it last season plenty of times, in a sort of almost a one-off game, and that Chelsea game is almost a one-off game because we have to win it, don't we? Really, realistically, we need to beat them at home. We're more than capable of putting a performance in that one game and winning that game. Whether that means it's going to define how good the rest of the season goes, I don't know, but we could produce a performance on that day and win that game. So I wouldn't necessarily say, I don't necessarily think we can turn everything around by then and we won't be playing brilliantly as a team, but we may well be able to put in a performance that day and get a result against Chelsea. I think we're capable of doing that. And that may be what we need to then get the confidence to push on. I don't know. But at this moment in time, I don't want to think too much about Chelsea. We've got, obviously, the Leicester game first. Let's get the international break out of the way. As Andreas rightly said, let's get the players back fit as well. That's going. And then come back with maybe a fresh approach and fresh ideas. And let's take that into the Leicester game, and let's get the Leicester game won first, and then we can start thinking about Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and everything else that's coming up after that. But yeah, at this moment in time, I kind of agree with you, but I still think on our day we can beat Chelsea if we put in a performance like we know we're capable of. Absolutely, we can. They're not playing; they're getting results, Chelsea, but they're not blowing teams away. They don't scare me watching them. I'm not sitting there watching them thinking, "Oh my God, we've got no chance." if we up our game, we can definitely get a result against them. It's just, are we able to do that at this moment, the way we're playing? And that's the question, isn't it? And I guess we'd all say no, probably right now. Matthew says, DVD was playing a match. Yeah, I kind of would be swayed towards that. She did make 2 really good, important saves. LG says, we need to have a conversation about Ford. She's always half a second too slow in the box. That's why her crosses always get blocked. She's so frustrated. I mean, I kind of take that point on board. I actually like Caitlin Ford. I actually think she brings a lot to the team. Her work rate's fantastic. She does have quality. She can score goals. Like everybody else so far this season, she's not been at her best. And that's not just her, is it? It's everybody. But, yes, she can be frustrating. I agree. But I kind of like her work rate and what she brings is actually, I think, a real positive. I like Caitlin Ford. But, yeah, I'll take your points on board. And I would kind of agree with you. But I still think that she should, things seem to happen when she's on the pitch. She creates chaos, doesn't she? Because she runs with a ball, she'll close people down quickly, and she's that type of player, isn't she? I like her when she's on the pitch. I really do. But yes, there's obviously parts of her game that she needs to improve on, like everybody, I suppose. I mean, Andreas, you obviously, Caitlin Ford, a big fan of hers. I mean, she's a great player, isn't she? But she can be frustrating. I think we'd agree with that.
Yeah, she definitely had a better season last season, and she didn't find her form this season so far. I like her when she stays on the wing and tries to go 1-versus-1 against the defender, and this again and again and again, and then tries to bring a cross in or invert herself in. But staying on the wing, you know what you get out of her when she's staying there, and she's always a threat for the defenders. So far this season, I haven't seen a really good performance from her, and but so many players are underperforming, so it's not only Caitlin's fault. No. Normally, I like her, and she can be very important for the team. But as I said, I prefer her to stay on the wings and be a threat for the opposition side. If she comes again and again, and it's annoying or frustrating for the defender if you have to play against Caitlin, because she's trying once again and always this 1-versus-1, and that's what I like on her, on the style of her playing. But I haven't seen much of this really good Caitlin for this season.
No, and like you said, she's not the only one, is she? I mean, it's been a thing throughout the whole squad, really. But yeah, I mean, I do like what Caitlin can bring on her day. She's a great player, and yes, she needs to improve as everyone else does this season. And yeah, she can be frustrating. I do definitely agree with that, 100%. LG says Mariona played a free role or a hybrid 8-10 last season, but this season she has mainly been stationed in double pivot. Exactly, yeah. No, that's not brought the best out of her, has it? Aloha Sassin says the Chelsea game has been moved to January. Hey? No, it hasn't, has it?
No, that's
Chelsea
the away
away
game.
In January. It's the away game in January. We're still playing them at home, aren't we, in November? It's the away game. Yeah. No, it hasn't been moved. It's just the other game. We do play them twice, well, maybe more. Once somebody goes and says Smith is clearly a good player, but she has to be quicker to finish or get the ball into the box. Yeah, again, extra touch. That's a problem that we've got throughout the attack at the moment. Chalmers 24 says Chelsea have had injuries. Lauren James and Germer are expected to be back after it. Yeah, they have had injuries as well. To be fair, they have, but they certainly haven't worried me watching them. They're not going to lose too many games, but I haven't looked a bit like last season. You look at them and you think, well, yeah, they're beatable, but then of course we play them and we can't beat them usually. But anyway, let's hope that things are different this time. And of course, it is, as you said, there is the international break coming up. And, it seems like Arsenal have got half the England squad for this round of games. Everybody's got picked. Taylor Hines has even got picked, despite playing for Jamaica previously, and only really starting, 2 or 3 games for Arsenal is enough to get her in the England squad, which I'm shocked about, if I'm honest. But, of course, the big news, the one that we're all excited about, we've been saying this for a while anyway. We knew it would happen. Katie Reid called up to the full England squad. Wow, incredible. Fantastic news it is. Fully deserved as well for the start she's made to this season. And I must admit, I'm not surprised. I've said it on this channel plenty of times. To me, she's the natural successor to Leah Williamson, both for Arsenal and for England. So I'm not surprised she's got a call up, but she fully deserves it. And hopefully, I mean, I know she was injured yesterday, so she didn't play. I'm hoping that she doesn't have to pull out through this injury. I hope she can go. Even if she can't get to play, I'm hoping that she gets that experience, because I think that's going to be really, really important for her. And she's so deserved, doesn't she, Andreas? Because she's been brilliant this season, Katie Reid.
Yeah, I was really hoping that Serena will call her up, and it's so deserved. I don't think she will get minutes. Maybe she will be subbed on for 5 minutes or so. But even if she doesn't play, doesn't matter. For her to be in this squad and have this experience, this will be so important. And we saw it, how quick she learns from the experienced players among her, and everybody says how humble she is and how willing to learn. And so she will show this in the England squad too. I really hope she can travel to St. James's Park for the training center and for the camp, etc., and not pull out because of injury. But it's so deserved, and she's still so young and raw. Just fantastic to see her development, and I think in 3, 4, 5 years we will be so proud to have her as Arsenal player, as one coming from the academy, and we will look back and say, do you remember when she was 18, 19 years young and had her breakthrough? Yeah, it's so great to watch this and follow her development. Fully deserved. And of course, I think Esme Morgan or Alex Greenwood will play as centre backs, maybe Jess Carter. But maybe Serena will see in training what a diamond she has there, and how humble and willing to learn she is, and will give her a few minutes in the second game. This would be great experience for Katie. I'm so happy for her and for us to follow her development.
No, absolutely, yeah. I'm absolutely delighted for her. And I say it's fully deserved as well, because, you know, we've seen how she stepped up this season. You know, she's probably only got to play because Leah Williamson has been injured. I don't think she would have played. But at the end of the day, football and sport is about taking your opportunities when they come along. And it's exactly what Katie Reid has done. Okay, yeah, she's made a couple of mistakes here and there, but that's obvious. She's 19-year-old playing her first full season at the top level. So, sort of full season. I know she played before, but yeah, and to get that opportunity to be training in the England camp is going to do nothing but benefit her, whether she plays or not. It'd be nice, like you said, it'd be nice if she could get on in one of the games. But yeah, just the fact that she's there and learning off all those great players around her, that's going to be massively beneficial for her. And it's a great opportunity for a great moment for her. And it is absolutely fully deserved. And you're right, you know, it's nice, isn't it? Though obviously we've seen it with Leah Williamson, when you get a player that you've seen come through the academy and go all the way to play for England, captain England. It's fantastic. And you know, I can see, as I said, I can see Katie Reid following a similar pathway. She's got it all. She really has, and she's level-headed. She knows what she has to do. She's learning off the best. And yeah, I'm delighted for her. Are you a little bit surprised about Taylor Hines getting called up? I know, obviously, if we forget the Jamaica issue for a minute, because I know that's fine, but the fact she's not really played much for Arsenal, suddenly she's moved to Arsenal from Liverpool, where she didn't get a look in for England, and suddenly now she plays 2 games for Arsenal, not really setting the world on fire, and she gets a call up. I mean, I know we don't really have a natural left back, and we're struggling a bit in that position, so maybe there's an opportunity there for her, for somebody. But are you quite surprised that she's been called up at this point when she's hardly played?
Yeah, really surprised. And I think the reason is that on left back we are always searching someone. Of course, Niamh Charles has played there a lot, but she was injured, is now coming back. And Jess Carter is no natural left back. So yeah, remember the Euros 22 when a striker played left back, Rachel Daly. So that might be a reason that Serena saw there could be a potential candidate for left back position in Taylor Hines. But if I don't call her up now, then she will be called by Jamaica. And if she makes a competitive game for Jamaica, then she can't come back to England. It's only because she did one friendly for Jamaica. Therefore, it was possible to change countries again. And for Taylor Hines, of course, it's a big chance. And the chaos that's in the Jamaican Football Association. So it's not a temptation to play for Jamaica, but she grew up in England, and she played for Arsenal, for Liverpool. Now again for Arsenal, England is her home, so it's understandable that she said, if I'm called up for England, I want to play there. Would she have been called up if she still plays for Liverpool? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, I mean, I know I've got nothing against Taylor Hines. I like Taylor Hines, and it's good for her that she's been called up and everything else. I'm just surprised that it's come now when she's only just really joined Arsenal. She's not played much yet. She hasn't settled in at Arsenal properly, and suddenly she's going to be selected for England. I'm a little bit shocked that she's been called up, but fair play. So I hope she gets some minutes on the pitch would be nice. And it is a position, as we've said, where England have struggled at left back for a while, actually. Like you said, Rachel Daly played at the last Euros. I don't think we have a really good, a proper, like, international class left back anyway. We seem to be scratching around. Jess Carter's played there, not her position. Niamh Charles is okay at left back. I don't think she's a great left back. She's all right. She does a job there. But if Taylor Hines can settle, and maybe she could make that position her own over the next few years, couldn't she? And she'll be aware of that herself, because players are. She'll be looking at and thinking, there's an opportunity at left back for England. There's an opportunity there. And if she can grab that opportunity, then it could be really good for her going forward, couldn't it? But we'll have to see. Jimmy says there, Smith had a great cross into Stina, and I think drew a few free kicks, but needs to take more shots. Yeah, she does a little bit. Yeah. Jimmy says they're great for Katie, well deserved. Yeah, I think we're all over the moon for Katie, aren't we? India Mastiff says Kimmy has been playing well, but she needs to be more vocal, playing a captain's role. Yeah, maybe that's not really her style, is it? She's a different type of captain to some captains, but she leads by example on the pitch, and everybody kind of follows that example. And she's playing all right, Kim. Yeah, she's definitely been our best midfield player this season. Not that there's been a lot of competition, because no one else has really been on their game. So, but she's playing all right, actually. And yeah, she needs more support around her, I think. She does miss Leah Volti. 170 Gunner says, I don't think our midfield is dynamic enough. I would like to see Smith in the 10 role. Yeah, I think Smith getting more central, but then you've got Mariona maybe needs to be in the 10 position. We seem to have a few players that we need to put in the 10 position, but then it's going to leave us short maybe elsewhere in the midfield. But anyway, Ryan says, yes, good for Katie. Like you say, it can be successor for Williams in the future. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, and I can see that in her. So let's just wait and see. 170 Gunner says, big up Katie Reid. Indeed, she fully deserves it. Fully deserves it. Jimmy says, Hines has the pace, and that's what England needs. Yeah, no, she does. And I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve to play for England. I'm just surprised it's come now when she's hardly played. Sometimes a player gets a move to a bigger club, puts them in the spotlight, and maybe that's what's happened. Maybe Serena's watched Arsenal a couple of times, seen something in there to think, you know what, we're a bit short in that position, let's give her a go. And if it works, brilliant. It'd be great for her. Taylor, it'd be great for us. It'd be great for England. But I'm just surprised it's come now, really, when she's not really played yet. But, Andreas has disappeared. I'm sure he'll be back. I've not had problems this week. Andreas has now got a problem with his computer. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. So yes, I mean it's an interesting England squad, isn't it? With so many Arsenal players in it, and it's going to be good to see the Brazil game in particular. We know what happened last time we played Brazil in the Finalissimo. That was exciting, wasn't it? I don't know whether it'll be quite as exciting again, but anyway, I'm sure it'll definitely be good. And Andreas is back. Well, there we go. You got the problem this week. I had a problem last week with the computer, and this time it's your turn. But anyway, good to see you back. So yeah, I mean it's an exciting England squad from an Arsenal perspective, because we've got so many players in it, and let's hope that we can see a few of them playing, because they're going to be two good games, aren't they? Obviously, Brazil in particular is going to be a good game, isn't it? It's always good to play Brazil.
Yeah, it's good for us to have so many players in the squad. Can you hear me? I have a strange echo.
It's a little bit echoey, yeah. I don't know. It's sort of cutting out a little bit.
Yeah. Is it better now?
It's better now, yeah.
Yeah. this week my system is making problems. Yeah, it's good to have so many players in the squad. Almost the whole attacking line can be Arsenal with Chloe, with Beth, and Lassie, and then the defense, Katie, Taylor, Lotta. But yeah, it's good. It's a good recognition for the players, and yeah, maybe it helps them all to be in a different camp and with other players, and yeah, see something different. And for the games we're playing, I think Brazil and Australia, is it right?
That's right.
Brazil, Australia. So two interesting opponents, and both in England. So no travels, and yeah, training camp in England, playing in England. So that's good. And yeah, interesting opponents with different styles. Good preparation for the World Cup. The next big tournament is a World Cup, and we have to not only play against European teams. So it's very interesting, and for once again for our players, good to be in the squad, and and to play against different countries. Yeah, looking forward to this international break, and also it's no pressure, no qualification, not looking. You have to win to get points for the Nations League, etc. Just interesting international break and interesting Lionesses games. So yeah, it will be relaxing 2 weeks for us, and I think we also need this to relax a bit.
No, I think we do. I say that it's not been a great first block of games this season, really, overall, is it? The performance hasn't been great. So I think maybe we need the break as well as the players need a break, and maybe Renee needs a break, and everybody needs a break at the minute. So it has come at a good time, actually. But yeah, there are two exciting games for England, and like you said, with the World Cup coming up, you're better off playing teams from around the world, because there'll be teams we'll have to potentially face anyway. Not necessarily these two particular teams. I mean, we may do, but it's more about playing different styles of football, isn't it? Not European style, playing these other teams. Obviously, we know quite a lot about Australia anyway. You know, from our perspective, we've got some Australians in our squad, but a lot of Australians playing the WSL anyway. And maybe their style of play isn't that different, really, I suppose. But yeah, it's always good to play Brazil, isn't it? So that's going to be an interesting one. And yeah, it is nice to be able to, like you said, nothing resting on the games. They're essentially friendlies, but I never look on any game as a friendly. If you're playing football, you're playing football, because either you're trying to, you're obviously to win the game, but you're trying to work on different things as well, aren't you? Maybe see different players, try a few different things. So it's a friendly, but there's work that needs to happen in these games, and it'd be interesting to see what Serena actually does. You know, does she try some of the newer players that's come in to see what they can do, or is she calling them up for the experience and still going to stick with a more regular team that won the Euros? We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, you're right. It's an exciting international break, actually, and it's not often that we say that, because most international breaks are just a pain and we don't like them. But this particular one, for lots of reasons, seems to be a bit of a more exciting one to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it. The two England games are going to be good, and I say we've got a lot of interest in there anyway. Obviously, with all our players that are going to hopefully be involved in one way or another. So. But yeah, but I'll say particularly well done to Katie Reid, because yeah, that was fantastic news when that was announced the other day. I was like, fantastic, she so deserves it. And then last night she pulled out injury. I think, no, please don't let her miss it. Please don't let her miss her first England call up. I mean, she'll have more opportunities, I'm sure, as well later on. But yeah, it would be sad if she couldn't make it. And talking to some sad news, of course, obviously today it was announced that Manu Zinsberger has done her ACL. Which has been a problem that we've suffered a lot in the last few years. With a lot of our different players have suffered that injury, and I suppose more frustrating from her perspective is it's happening in training as well. It wasn't even in a match, so that kind of makes it even more frustrating. That, you know, probably means that she's going to be out she will be out for the rest of this season. And as somebody mentioned earlier, is it going to be maybe have we seen her play her last game now for Arsenal? Because, you know, she's probably not going to play again. You know, it's a year out, isn't it? Quite often with an ACL, virtually. So, you know, I know we've criticised Manu, haven't we? Certainly last season, in particular, some of her performances wasn't good enough. You know, she conceded some really poor goals. And I think we all kind of felt the last couple of years that she'd passed her best and on her way out, if you like. She's still at the club. She's a great personality, and I'm sure she's great to have around the place, even though she doesn't really play much anymore. But I mean, you don't want to see anybody have an ACL injury. It's horrible. It means a big chunk of your career is gone. And it was a sad news. Obviously, we knew she pulled out yesterday he wasn't in the squad for yesterday's game. I mean, Andreas, it's a shame, isn't it? I mean, obviously you've followed her career maybe more, obviously, because she was at Bayern Munich before. But I mean, what do you obviously it's a sad moment for her. But do you think we've probably seen her for the last time playing for the club?
First of all, it's sad for her because she will miss 1 year of her career and all the hard work after the surgery that's waiting for her. It's a difficult time. And the next problem, to say so, is she's in the last year of her contract. So yes, I think we saw her playing for Arsenal already for the last time. I can't see us giving her a new contract, and for her, she will review her personal situation with her wife and the children and the child. So probably she will move on. But as we always say, such injuries are first of all very, very hard and sad for the players. And if you see she's having a surgery now, and then about 10, 12 months of rehab and all this work in the gym for her alone, not being able to train with your teammates, not being around the team. This is a very, very hard year that's coming for her, and not having her family, wife and child, with her in England, it's makes it even more difficult. Maybe the club will allow her to take a part of her rehab in Austria or in Germany. Let's see. It's a difficult point of her career, and we'll see what she will decide earlier next year when negotiations about the contract will start. But right now, we have to say all the best for Manu, just for her as a person. I think we love her as a person, and the way she was dedicated with passion to this club was always great. And therefore, for her as a person, all the best, and have good and quick rehab.
Exactly, yeah. She's always had a lot of time for the fans as well, hasn't she? So, she like you said, as a person, I've never had any problem with her. It's just some of her performances over the last couple of years have not been good enough for what we needed. But yeah, we wish her all the best. Of course we do, and hopefully, she'll come back and be able to play again, whether it's for us or elsewhere. Will be decided later on, I suppose. But yeah, it will be a tough time for anyone who goes through that injury. We've seen it so many times with a lot of our players, haven't we? And I know for a goalkeeper, it's maybe slightly different in the sense that when you come back from that injury, it's maybe slightly easier to get back and playing again quicker. When you're an outfield player, the movements and all that kind of stuff and whatever, you might make it more of a longer process maybe. But yeah, it's not going to be easy for her, especially at the time of her career that she's in. She probably hasn't got a lot of years left to play, and she's going to lose one of them now to this. So yeah, it's very frustrating, but hopefully she'll be back fit again. Back playing, which is what we want to see. India Massive says, any news on Fox? From what I understand, they're not that worried about Fox. I think it's looks like a fairly minor injury, and she should hopefully, by the time we play again in 2 weeks' time, she should be fit. Is what we're hearing. Let's hope that's right. It didn't look great last night, actually, quite worrying. But but once she got back on her feet again, she kind of walked around the pitch, limping a bit, but she was unaided, and she seemed to be not as bad. So let's hope that she is okay. Jimmy says Fox should be okay. Yeah, I hope so. Lethal Chicken says, I don't know what you think it could be, but I don't know. I don't know why you think it could be her last. Sophie Ingle just came back from an ACL injury, and she is 3 years older than Manu. No, what I meant was her last game for Arsenal, because her contract's up. She's lost her place now in the team anyway. She did last season to Daphne. We just bought a new goalkeeper in the summer, Annika Borba. So her chances are going to have been reduced this season anyway. Now she's out for the rest of the season. I'm not saying she's not going to come back and play football. I'm sure she will. Just will it be for Arsenal? That's the question, isn't it? In the circumstances. But Lethal Chicken says, if she wants She still has plenty of time left, even if it's not in the top 10. No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm sure she'll play football again. Absolutely, she will. I'm not sure she'll play for Arsenal again. That's the point we were making. She's probably going to end up leaving at the end of the season, going probably back to Germany potentially, and maybe finishing her career over there. But yeah, so we obviously wish her all the best, and hopefully the injury to Emily Fox isn't too bad either, because the last thing we need is to be losing players really. Matthew says Fox needs backup as well. She plays well. Yeah, she does. But I say I kind of quite like when Taylor Hines went over there in the closing stages. I didn't really mind that. And if that's going to be, if she's an option to give Emily Fox a bit of rest here and there, then I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And it will get Taylor Hines more minutes on the pitch anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, let's hope she doesn't need to be rested yet, because she's one of our more consistent players this season, hasn't she? Really, despite our sort of poor our performances have been overall, she's been one of the players that's sort of stepped up and has looked as good as normal, really, hasn't she, Emily Fox? So we don't want her to miss any games, really. And yeah, let's hope it's not too bad. And of course, Steph Catley went off as well last night. It could have been a really disastrous night on injury front, but as it's turned out, again, I don't think Steph's injury is too bad either, and I wouldn't expect her to have to miss any games for Arsenal. I mean, she'll probably play for Australia against England next week anyway, I would imagine. So, but yeah, it could have been a lot worse for us last night.
Yeah, Renee said after the game she thinks that Fox will be okay. And it was only a slight knock. And someone said she was, after the game, she was still limping to the dressing room, but not in a brace and not in a boot. So this gives hope. And if I could decide, I would say she shouldn't travel to the US and skip the internationals, get rest and rehab for 2 weeks in London. But I don't know if Emma Hayes agrees to this.
No, and to be honest with you, knowing Emily Fox, she'll want to go and play for America, won't she? So if she's fit enough to play, she'll definitely go, I'm sure. But yeah, ideally wrap her in cotton wool for the next 2 weeks to make sure that she doesn't get injured, because she's an important player for us now, absolutely one of our most important players. So but yeah, that was sort of good news in a sense, because I say at the time it did look quite concerning, didn't it? She looked like she was in a lot of pain, and I was a bit worried that there was quite a serious injury at the time, but luckily it doesn't look as though it is, so that's positive as well. And I say, I don't think Steph Catley's too bad either. I think she's going to be fine. So, yeah, it looked like it could have been a bit of a disastrous evening, but it wasn't. Doesn't look as though it's too bad in the end. And of course, it did give Leah Cadena an opportunity to get on the pitch as well. Again, a rare opportunity for her, because she doesn't play much, does she? So, again, players that we need. You need to have a squad. You need to have players who can come off the bench and do a job for you. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it's been a better week in results wise. Definitely, it has been a better week. 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, as we said. Positive. And at least we can go into this international break on a little bit more confident frame of mind than we would have done if the international break had come last week. I think it would have been terrible for everybody. So I think it's ended in a good way, this little block of games, and hopefully, I'll say this break will do everybody good, and we can come back in 2 weeks and rip into Leicester, take our frustrations out on them, and that can be the start maybe of us getting back to our form again. So yeah. It's been, I suppose it's been a positive week, really, hasn't it, Andreas? Even if the performances still aren't quite where we need them to be.
Yeah, of course. We are in a position after this bad start where only results count. And we got the results. We got 6 points, 3 in the WSL, 3 in Champions League, and we got 2 clean sheets. So that was what we could expect. And we often said this about Chelsea with these dirty wins. They won 1-0 against Spurs too, and we won 1-0 against Brighton. Yeah, you have to win and get the 3 points, and then see what happens. Man United or Man City didn't play well. United was, I think they were behind away at Everton. City needed a late goal. Yeah, we got the job done. That was what counted in this week. And now let's look forward to the international break. There was a question online from one of our viewers whether I was wearing a Linus's kit under my Arsenal jacket. Yes, you're right. I'm already prepared for the international break.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. It's a good top that as well. Actually, I like that one. Legal Chicken says sometimes it doesn't matter how we win as long as we do. That's the important thing. No, exactly. And you know, throughout the whole season, as Chelsea have shown many times, you know, you're not going to play well every single game. Nobody does. Not even not even Barcelona play well every single game. Nobody does. And the key thing is on the weeks that you don't play well, you have to try and find a way to win. And that's something we haven't done enough of. You know, it seems that normally if we don't play well, we don't win. That's been the case. But so in a sense, it's a positive that we've managed to get 2 wins without playing especially well. But the performances for me still don't give me that confidence that we are going to come back and go on a good run. Let's hope we do, because we need to. But let's just take one game at a time. And the last 2 have been positive. Jimmy says 6 points, 2 clean sheets. I'm happy. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all happy, but I think equally we're all a little bit frustrated with how we're playing and a little bit concerned about how we're playing. You know, I say sometimes Chelsea have scraped these 1-0 wins, and you think, okay, yeah, they look a bit vulnerable there. But deep down, you look at Chelsea and you know they're still going to reel off another 4 or 5 wins after that. You looked at this last week of our 2 performances. I don't feel that we're going to. We may do, but I don't feel the confidence that we will. You know, Chelsea will do it. So maybe that's a historic thing, isn't it? Because they've always done it, and we maybe haven't. And if we can keep doing it now, if we win our next 4 or 5 games after the break, all scrappy 1-0s. You know, beating Chelsea 1-0, Bayern Munich 1-0, scrappy games, and we won't mind if we start doing it regularly. But I don't think that's sustainable. I think you have to. You should be looking at playing well most of the time, and then when you don't play well, to scrape a result. And that's what Chelsea do. Let's be honest. And what we can't do is keep playing off our game and scraping wins, because that's not sustainable. Because sooner or later you'll keep playing badly and you won't win 1-0. As we've seen, you'll lose games quite easily. So, you know, the performances need to improve. But yeah, let's take the positives. It's 2 wins. It's what we needed, and it is something to build on over the break, isn't it? India Mastiff says, I need work on set pieces. I like to see a defender come forward and head them in like Gabriel. Yeah, I think at both ends, really, we don't defend them very well and we don't score enough at the other end. So, yeah, maybe set pieces is something we do need to improve on at both ends of the pitch. Absolutely. And that's an important part of football. I know it's frustrating sometimes when you watch the men's team and it seems like we only ever score from set pieces, but that's how important they are. You know, if you score 2 set pieces a game, you're probably going to win most games, aren't you? So, and if you can defend them really well and don't concede, so they're the 2 areas of the pitch that we need to improve on that particular aspect. I agree, but we need to improve on a few things. As Mariona said last night, we need to improve on most things, is what she said. And I think she's right. And, you know, it's nice of her to be honest about it. And I think that's true. I think we do need to improve most things. You know, not a lot, but we need to definitely improve them. Ag says, what about the cups in England? Well, yeah, we want to win all of them as well. Absolutely we do. We want to win everything. And to be fair, they haven't even started for us yet. So, you know, we've got lots to look forward to still. But I'm more worried about the here and now and how we're playing, and whether or not that doesn't make me necessarily think we can't go on and be successful this season. But it's still quite early. We've got plenty of time to turn it around. As I said, you know, we've got these 2 wins. If we go in after the break and win 3 or 4 of them in a row, then suddenly the season's looking a lot different, isn't it? We're back in the title race. We're almost there in the Champions League, and things are suddenly looking a lot more positive. That's the thing with football, isn't it? It can change so quickly. It can. And if this week, even though this week has left us a little bit frustrated, if this week is what actually turns the season around, then that's what you need. It's not always going to be, is it? When you've had a bit of a bad time and you're not playing well, you're probably not going to get a 4 or 5-0 win to help you turn things around, are you? You're probably going to have to scrap a couple out, and then maybe that's what it needs to then go on. And if that's what's happened this week, then that'll be great. And we'll maybe look back on this week at the end of the season and say it was hanging on in that Brighton game that made the difference, or it was scraping that win in Benfica that helped us to qualify and turn the season around. So maybe these. There's my signal. Oh, back. Jimmy says that the WSL is bunching up, and after I love it, keeps me on my toes. No, exactly. To be fair, if we can beat Chelsea not next game, the game after, it puts us right back in there with a chance, doesn't it? It puts us right back in there again. That'd be are we 5 points behind them?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 points behind them. Yes, that would be 2 points behind them if we beat them. That's nothing, is it? That 2 points is easily doable. So yeah, it could change quickly. Ag says it would be a miracle if Arsenal wins Champions League next year again. Yeah, but you would have said the same. We would have all said this time last year. We would have said it'd be a miracle if Arsenal could win the Champions League this season, and we did it. So who knows? But yeah, at this moment in time, I don't want to think too far ahead about trophies and cups. I just want to focus on this international break and then coming back, beating Leicester, and hopefully then moving forward in a more positive way, more positive performances. That's what I want to see and see where it takes us. If it brings another cup, fantastic. If it brings more than just one cup, it'd be great, wouldn't it? But let's not worry too much about that for now. Let's just focus on getting these performances right, and hopefully getting on a good run like we did last season. This time last year, we came back off an international break, went on a big run, didn't we? But beat everybody. Let's do it again. That's what we need to do, don't we? And hopefully that can be the difference and get our season back on track. So yeah, fingers crossed. Renee's got a bit of work to do the next couple of weeks, and let's hope that she does it well and we see the benefits of it against Leicester and obviously beyond, and obviously see where we go. But yeah, so obviously it's international break, so I think England are playing. Is it Tuesday, the first game? Is that right? Is it Tuesday? I can't remember that. I think it's Tuesday.
Next Saturday, 25th.
Oh, is it? Is that the first game? Is that the full game?
Yeah.
Then the Australian game is Tuesday after that, isn't it?
Yeah, the 25th in Manchester against Brazil, and then on Tuesday the 28th in Derby versus Australia.
Yeah. So okay. So we've got a week off really, which is good. So yeah, I mean we'll probably want to do a show next week then, because obviously there's no games for Arsenal, but we'll come back obviously 2 weeks time. Ahead of the Leicester game, we'll look back on the international, see how our players have done, and look ahead to Leicester and obviously the games going forward as well, and whether this international break has given everyone a refresh. Let's hope everybody's fit, as we said before. He says play well and harmony in the team and top three. Okay, no, top three is not good enough though, is it? We keep coming top three. We need to have more expectations than that. I suppose if we win another big trophy, then maybe we'll accept top three. At the moment, I will take top three right now where we are, but it's still early days. I'm sure we'll be fine, but it's just a bit frustrating at the minute. So that's that then. It is the start of the weekend officially is here, and it's a weekend that we can relax a little bit because obviously we don't have a game. The men are obviously playing as well tomorrow. I think it is, isn't it? Or is it? Yeah, Sunday. So we'll obviously, opportunity to watch that game as well. But so yeah, it's a nice relaxing weekend for a change. No stress of looking forward to a game or not losing is one good thing, I suppose. So yeah, but the weekend is here. So whatever you are doing, please have a good time. Andreas, good to see you again. Hope you're going to be feeling a bit better soon as well. Are you enjoying being on the show?
Yeah, enjoyed being on the show and discussing everything. And as I said, now looking forward to more relaxed 2 weeks. And then I hope to be back on the show on 31st on Friday before the Leicester game.
Yeah, that's what we'll do then. And hopefully it'll be good. And yeah, hopefully the players come back refreshed. Ag says, good night from Sweden. Ice bears on the streets tonight. Wow, is it that cold, is it? I mean, lucky we don't have that sort of weather here, thankfully, because I'm not that keen on the cold weather, if I'm honest. And obviously Ryan is saying goodbye as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all your comments again, as always. It's always great to have you guys involved. Thankfully, there wasn't too many issues with the camera this week, which was good. So the show went a lot better. So I enjoyed that much more this week. It's frustrating last week. Kept having to come in and out and restart it all. India Mastiff says, night, everyone. Have a good weekend. And yourself and everyone else in the chat. So thank you for joining us, as always. Thank you for all your comments and your questions and getting involved in the show. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about you guys coming on and giving your thoughts as well. That's what we like to do. And hopefully you've enjoyed the show. If you have, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. So we'll have a week off next week and then we'll be back. We'll be fully refreshed like the team, ready to go, and firing on all cylinders, ready for a big block of games coming up. Actually, really is. And I say we will be giving you some coverage of the Lionesses game as well against Brazil, and also the Australia games. So you'll have to come and join us for those as well. We'll be covering them games for you, so that's going to be good. So yeah, enjoy your weekend. Egg says, and Oktoberfest. Yeah, you get involved in that, do you?
No, it's nothing for me, and it's already finished. It starts always early late September and then early October, and it's already finished. But it's not my thing. I'm never been there, and
no, it's not for you. No, a lot of people enjoy it, don't they? But anyway, so thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. Thanks to Andreas, of course, as always, and thanks to you guys. We will see you I'll see you for the England game a week on Saturday. So enjoy your weekend, and hopefully you won't get some ice bears or whatever it is wherever you are, because we don't want that, do we? Not yet. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon. Take it easy. Come on, you gunners. A better week, but some better weeks to come, hopefully, as well. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you soon.
bye.